Hey, hey, hey! What is up, beautiful people of the world? Oh my goodness. How are y'all doing? I'm fine. I'm doing great. I am here again for episode 3 of the podcast. Woo! Obviously I'm getting a little bit more experience in doing this and more comfortable talking to literally my phone. But I am here again. My name is Janique. I'm an illustrator, artist, all around badass. And I would love to tell you how Korea saved my life and my art. So for those that don't know me, I'm actually not new to YouTube. I was a content creator not too long ago, like within the last 8 to 9 years. I was like a small time content creator on YouTube. You can go look me up, the NOLA expat. I used to live in South Korea teaching English, and I created a bunch of videos in Korea about like how life was, like traveling, all that good stuff. Go check it out. It's pretty cool content, actually. And I just did that for fun. I didn't even do that like for anything really. But yeah, like Korea saved my life twice, actually, I should admit. So our story starts back in 2012, and I should preface this with like a little bit of trigger warning. I will talk about suicidal thoughts in this, but in 2012 I had my mother pass away, and it was really unexpected for me, for our family. I didn't deal with it well, I don't think, at all. And I turned to so many different ways to cope. None of them super healthy. But one of the things that I kind of like jumped into was volunteering. And went and volunteered at a women's shelter for a couple of years, and was also going to grad school, and was also working and trying to like still like create stuff. And I was making bows and selling them at like a local store. And I had a friend who was in Japan at the time, and this is like, let's say 3 years after my mom passed. And I was just like, I was doing too much, and I was hating my life. I was just like miserable. And I saw my friend in Japan. Well, I mean, I saw photos of my friend in Japan because I was in my hometown still. And he was like, hey, why don't you just come out here? Like, just, you're not really doing anything. And I thought about it. I'm like, I don't know about Japan. I gotta learn a language. I'm not great at learning languages, and Japanese is hard. And like just there were a lot of reasons why I was like, oh, I don't know. I looked into, I remember being in grad school, like being in the class, and like was just so zoned out from the professor talking, and was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I started like watching this girl, I can't even remember her name now, but she used to make videos about her time living in like Korea, in South Korea. And she was talking about like the different programs that you could enter in. You can either do private school, public school. And I was like, well, they got perks to it, wherein that you get a flight over. Sometimes you get your housing paid for. You get a pension depending on how long you stay. Or well, the size of the pension definitely does. There's just a lot of things that I'm like, okay, cool. And I knew about like some K-pop stuff. Like in college, I was introduced to Shiny. Did not know who Shiny was. Fast forward 3 years, and I'm like a Shiny fan, right? But I knew a little bit about Korea, like not a lot. Like a friend of mine in college, he is his family is Korean, and like you learn a little bit here and there, like culturally. But I was like, I don't know. I've never like lived out of the country. Maybe that's something I need to do. Like there's nothing here for me. Like maybe I should just go. And so I started like looking into like the programs. And for me, sometimes I'll start projects, like I'm gonna be honest, sometimes I'll start projects and just be like la-di-da-di-da, and then sometimes I'll like start projects and be like 100%, let's go, we're doing this. I did not realize that once I started looking up like Korea and like how to like teach there, that I would be like 100% gung-ho, let's like do this. I really did it. Like I really like researched and took the time to like apply and do a whole bunch of stuff. So at the time, I had brought it up with my family, and they're like, "Oh, you're not gonna go. Like I have been out of the country by myself, but I have never lived out of the country myself." And so they were like, "Oh, you're not gonna do that. You're not gonna live away from us for, like God knows how long." And I'm like, "Oh, cool, bet." Apparently, basically I was like, "Oh, cool, bet." Like, yeah, it's happening. Um, and it was also like a way to just escape like the shadow of my mom's like passing. And I was so upset at one point, and just like really hoping like, okay, I applied for this program. I really want this. Like, if I don't get this, like, that's it. Like, I'm taking myself out. I'm like, I'm not doing this life no more. Like, I'm done. And I joke about it now, but it's like, it's kind of heavy back then. I've healed a lot. I've grown a lot since that time. But that was the first time that Korea saved my life, was when I got accepted into that program. And I found out in November, and then was on a flight in February to go to South Korea. And I didn't know how long I was going to be there. I had thought maybe a year. I had thought maybe for the rest of my life. I really wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. I ended up staying there for 4.5 years. And it was a mix of both. Like, people say, like, you know what? You can go to my channel. You can go to the NOLA expat right now and go see like what it was. There's a couple of videos about like what I now am understanding is like my struggle to still be connected with my Blackness, with my self esteem and my self-confidence, and also be in Korea. And that's a whole other podcast. But you'll see some videos where it's like me not having really the language, but me still kind of navigating those thoughts and feelings on that channel, in that time. So, anyways, I have previously talked about like my art and how I went 8 years not doing art. well, 2012 was like the start of that 8 years. Obviously, like lost my mom, so I was just like, this is I don't know. I don't feel creative. I don't feel like happy or anything. Um, so then for the next couple of years, I didn't really do anything creative or artwork or anything. And then after my second year in Korea, I was wanting like a different space. Like I was in like the mountains in like a very cold town. I love that town. It's still like it's like it brings back really fond memories. I met a lot of cool people. I'm still friends with like a bunch of people from there that I met there. And I decided I wanted to move to a little bigger city, like that's closer to Seoul. Um, so I was granted the opportunity to do that. Thank goodness. One of my friends, because you don't get to choose where you get placed. For the particular program that I went into, you don't get to choose. You just get put wherever they want you to be. But one of my friends was leaving that year, and I was going to replace her and take her spot. So she was actually leaving the town that I wanted to go into. So that all worked out. And thank goodness. This is the second time that Korea saves my life, right? Because there just so happened to be a art academy there. They call them Misorhagwan. And I decided to join the Misorhagwan, and I met this lovely lady there. Like, and this is the thing about Korea though too. Is like I never knew some of the adults' names because you would just call them by their title, like teacher. But like for the most part, you don't really use people's first names. And you might not even like know somebody's name. You'll just like know their title. So I through going to this art academy, met this woman who she was the owner and she was an artist, and she ran this art academy called Krida or Kurida, which means like drawing or to draw in Korean. And she being there and learning from her and like just being in a space where like I could just have that time to create and like make that time for myself to create, like really just opened the door for my art. I first made like some just like random little drawings and stuff, like stuff that she wanted me to practice on. But then she kind of like let me, she was like, oh, you actually have talent, like you know what you're doing, like I'm gonna just let you do what you want. And so she would like just give me like supplies, and I'd be the only foreigner there. And I just like sit and do art amongst these other folks that were just like enjoying themselves. And I remember one of my first big pieces that I felt so super proud of was a drawing of Jonghyun from SHINee, who he had passed away from suicide the year, like a couple months previous to me joining the Misohagwan. And I remember just like I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this in my style, which is like I was like, do I even have a style? But I drew him in ink, like in ink, with ink pen, and then I did watercolor over it, and it was just like I love it. I still have it. It's actually I think it's hanging up in like some exhibit right now. Yeah. But that was like the first time that I felt alive again. Like happy, like truly, truly, like, oh my gosh, I'm myself again. Like, it was like returning to see like an old friend, to have like my art come back to me and my talent come back to me. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I haven't lost it, thank God. Like all those years of art school, thank God. But yeah, that one piece set me on the course of doing like more portraits. And I really love the fact that that place was there. And I'll say this till the day that I die. Like, that's my ultimate dream goal. Like, that's one of the, I have a lot of things on my vision board, but that's one huge one, is to have a place like that, is to own a place like that here in the States, and like have like an art salon. And it's not like what you would think. It's like an open studio type space, and it just works so well. I really want that, because it did so much for me in a time that I really needed it. And I want to have that available to folks that really need it, because sometimes you don't need a 2-hour watercolor course. Like, you already know what you want to do. You just need the space, and you need the supplies, and you need the support there. So that's really what I want to give back at some point. So yeah, Korea saved my life twice. And I'll always be grateful for that. And that's also where my artwork has stemmed from, that I currently do. So I've kind of kept a lot of those elements of like working in pen and ink and watercolor, and just having that be like my staple. That's my baby. That's what I like to do. That's the thing that like makes me happy, when I put ink to paper, when I do line art, when I can like make intricate like little line work and designs. Oh, I'm just like, I'm getting tingly just thinking about it right now. Like that's my passion. That's really my passion. Because anytime I think about like doing art like that, like something just lights up. And I wish everybody could feel that about something. Yeah, so that's my story. Yeah, if you are interested in learning about Korea, or learning about what it's like to live in Korea, to be a teacher in Korea, definitely go check out my videos. Also, TikTok it's all over the place now. One thing I'm very happy about finding TikTok, because when I was in Korea and like going through like the weird stuff that I was experiencing, and like getting gaslit by like other foreigners, being like, well, it's a foreigner thing, it's not just because you're black. Oh no, honey, anti-blackness lives and breathes all over the world. But like, I really appreciate the younger kids now who are on TikTok, who are over there currently and talking about it, because like it's very real. And at that point, I didn't have other folks who were like, yeah, this is a thing. I mean, I had friends, and I had black female friends, I had black male friends, but I don't know if it was ever something that we really talked about like intensely. And then there's an added layer of like, I'm not a thin woman by like I'm thick, I've got curves, so like it's a little bit different to be big bodied and black over there, because it's just, you live in a different way. You operate in a different way. You have to move in a different way. And I don't think a lot of my friends really understood that. Like, even if they could understand it from a blackness point of view, they couldn't really understand it from a plus size black point of view sometimes. So yeah, I'm really happy that there's people that are out there that are connecting, that are telling their stories, that feel like they can tell their stories, because like a lot of times I'm like, I don't know, I'm scared that the program will find my video and like say get out the country, you know. But I'm really glad like people can voice their truth now. Because it's real and it's true, and it's like I wasn't crazy. I was experiencing those things, but for all the not so great experiences I've had really great experiences from Korea too. It's both, and that's what life is. Life is both. And I'm still very grateful for the opportunity to have gone there, to get to be in a different place, to heal, to create, to find myself again, to just like experience the world, and to know a whole nother language that I have now unfortunately kind of sort of forgotten over the past 2.5, almost 3 years that I've been back stateside. But I just gotta keep up watching my K-dramas. That's all. That's fine. And I just gotta keep listening to K-pop. That's fine. Cause like I'm gonna get it back. I'm gonna get it back. It's fine. It's all fine. But anyways, if you've gotten to this part of the podcast, like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and let me know what makes you tingly. Nothing not PG, y'all, because I don't want to know. I just don't want to know. Like, that's great for you. I'm not yucking anybody's yum, but tell me the things that are like wholesome, that make you tingly. Like, tell me the things that like spark interest in your life, spark joy for you, like artwork does for me. And I will catch you on the flip side. Peace. We are out.